Hey, Facebook isn't the only company doing this, but there's an article from the Markup. They did a study and caught Facebook. This is absolutely crazy. Receiving sensitive medical information. We're going to talk about that right now. This is really concerning for a lot of people, and for good reason, frankly. I've been talking about this. I think the first time I talked about it was over a decade ago. And it has to do with what are called pixels. Now, marketers obviously want to show you ads, and they want to show you ads based on your interest. And frankly, as a consumer, if I'm looking for a new F-150, I wouldn't mind seeing ads from competing car dealers or, used car places, etc., to try and sell me that Ford truck. It makes sense, right? If I'm looking for shoes, why not show me ads for shoes? But what happens when we start talking about the medical business, about the legal business? Things get murky and people get very upset. You see, the way these pixels work is you'll put a pixel, like for instance, a Facebook pixel. If you go to craigpeterson.com, I've got this pixel on there from Facebook. And what it allows me to do now is retarget Facebook users. So you go to my site, you go to a page on my site, and this is true for pretty much every website out there. And I know that you went and you were looking for this, so I can retarget you in an ad. I'll show you an ad, in other words, on Facebook. Now, I've never actually done that, ever. I'm like the world's worst marketer, frankly. But I do have that on there because it gives me some other numbers, statistics, and really helps me to understand how the website's being used, which I think makes a whole lot of sense. So there are marketers that are using this for obvious reasons now. I think you understand what the pixel is. It is literally a little picture that is 1 pixel by 1 pixel, and it tends to blend in. I think even in most cases now, these pixels from different places like Facebook are actually transparent, so you don't even see it on the page. But the idea is now they have a foothold on a website that doesn't belong to them. In this case, Facebook now has access to information about a website that you visited that has nothing to do with Facebook. Okay, so that's the basics of how these pixels work. And they're almost impossible to get rid of because in reality, many websites, mine included, will even grab graphics from other websites just because, I'm quoting another article. I pull in their graphic. Of course, I'm going to point to that other site. Why would I take that picture, put it on my site? I don't own the rights to it. But if he'll let me, that other website will let me go ahead and show that graphic on my website, because there's ways to restrict it. If they don't want me doing that, they could stop me from doing it. Then I'm going to just go to the original website so they can get the credit for it. It's their property still. I'm not violating any copyright laws, etc. Does that make sense to you? So what's the difference between the Facebook pixel and a picture I'm pulling from another random website? Well, the obvious thing is it's coming from a Facebook domain of some sort. So there are ways to stop it, but there's just as many ways to get around stopping it, frankly. Well, let's move on to something a little more sensitive. We have had problems that I reported on years ago of people going to an emergency room in a hospital. Now, when you're in that emergency room, your phone has GPS capabilities still. It knows you went in the emergency entrance to the hospital, and you are opening it up. Maybe you're looking around. Maybe you're reading articles. Maybe you're plotting your trip home using Google Maps. You are being tracked, depending on what apps you have on your phone, if you have an Android versus an iPhone, what you've enabled, what you haven't enabled, right? All of that sort of stuff. Well, this now has become a problem because, as I reported, there have been people who went to the hospital, went to the emergency room, and started seeing ads from what you might call ambulance-chasing lawyers. Have you been injured? Is it someone else's fault? Call me right now, Dewey Cheatham and Howe. If that sort of thing showed up on your phone, would you get a little upset, a little nervous, saying, what are they doing, trying to cash in on my pain, maybe literal pain? And it's not as though those ads are just showing up while you are in the emergency room, because now they've tagged you. They know that you are in that emergency room. So off they'll go. They will go ahead and track you and send you ads even after you leave. Hey, I want to remind you, if you want to get this week's list of articles, I put out every week my Insider Show Notes. It has become very popular. Thousands of people get that every week. Go right now to craigpeterson.com. I'll also send out a little bit of training. I do that. I have special reports I send out. I got more stuff I'm doing. But you got to be on the email list, craigpeterson.com, to get on my free email list. Now, what's happened here now is Markup went ahead and looked at Newsweek's top 100 hospitals in America. They went to their websites and they found about a third of the hospitals using what's called the Metapixel. That is the Facebook pixel I was referring to earlier. So it sends a little bit of data whenever someone clicks a button to, let's say, schedule a doctor's appointment. Why does it do that? Well, because the Facebook pixel is on the scheduling page. Let's say there's a scheduling page for oncology on the website. Guess who knows that you are going to see an oncologist? Facebook. Why? Well, because the hospital has put a Facebook tracking pixel on that page. So Facebook knows, hey, he was on the oncologist page. Maybe he has cancer. I should start showing him ads from other hospitals and from cancer medications, etc., etc. That is happening right now. 33 of these top 100 hospitals in America, these are the top 100 according to Newsweek's list, have that information. Now, that data is connected to your internet address. So it's kind of like your computer's mailing address. And they can link that back to usually to a specific individual or to a household. So now they have a receipt of the appointment request that's gone to Facebook. Now, they don't have everything you filled out on the page or anything. You know, you added in your social security number, maybe other medical information. Facebook didn't get all of that. But they do know that you visited the hospital's website and which pages you visited on that website. So Markup went ahead and contacted these hospitals. So, for example, Johns Hopkins Hospital, they did find a Facebook pixel tracking on the appointment scheduling page. They informed Johns Hopkins of how that is a leak of personal information. And after being contacted by the Markup, they did not remove the tracker. Also, by the way, when the Markup reached out to them, the hospital did not respond. UCLA Reagan Medical Center, they had, of course, a pixel, and they did remove it from the scheduling page, although they declined to comment. New York Presbyterian Hospital, all these hospitals have that pixel, and they did not remove it. Northwestern Memorial Hospital, again, they got the tracking pixel, did not remove it after they were informed about the security problems. Duke University Hospital, same thing. Most of these, by the way, did not respond to them. University of Pennsylvania, Houston Methodist Hospital, University of Chicago Medical Center, the last two of those did remove the pixel. Scripps Memorial Hospital out in La Jolla, California. There are many. Brigham and Women's Faulkner Hospital. They were informed that they had the tracking pixel on the scheduling page. They did not remove it. But, you know, the time of this article. Tufts Medical Center, same thing, did not remove it. Out in Sanford, in San Diego, same problem. Johns Hopkins Bayview Medical Center, Jefferson Health, Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals, Loyola. These are big name hospitals. I'm looking at these. It goes on and on. Sharp Memorial Hospital, Henry Ford Hospital, Let's see, some more. I'm trying to. Massachusetts General Hospital. They did not have the tracking pixel. Brigham and Women's Hospital, no tracking pixel on the scheduling page. So some of these hospitals were already doing it right. They recognized that putting this Facebook pixel on may help them with some of the marketing and understanding the market a little better, which is what I do. But it's also giving personal information, personal health information to Facebook and Facebook's advertisers. So they didn't put it on. So good for them. Again, Mass General, Brigham and Women's, Sanford, Mount Sinai, University of Michigan Hospital, and others, of course. So very good news there. In general, again, don't be worried about a pixel on just a random website, because it probably is being used to help with stats, to know what's being used on the website, and maybe, just maybe, using it to send a little ad to you on Facebook later on. Of course, you're listening to Craig Peterson. You can get my insider show notes for absolutely free and my little mini trainings, 3 to 5 minutes every week at craigpeterson.com. Just sign up on the homepage.